Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you scams that you might come across while traveling. So these are going to be basically scams that I have come across. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I've been to 30 countries, and the first scam I want to talk to you guys about is a scam in Costa Rica. So in Costa Rica, there is a really famous park called the Manuel Antonio Park, where you can see a bunch of like wildlife, and then there's beach and like sloths and exotic animals. So basically, before you drive over there, sometimes people will have just like a parking space scam where they're dressed like they're police, and they'll be like trying to direct you to parking and say, I mean, it's really bizarre actually, but like they'll be like, "Oh, we have parking for the park," but then it makes no sense because it's like before you get to the park, and then once you get there, it's like it makes like once you get there, you will realize that it made no sense that your car was there. Because they have parking there, but it's before you get to the park pretty much. We didn't fall for that because my boyfriend, I don't know, he has good intuition. He could just tell. He's really smart, and he's also traveled a good amount. So, yeah, that one probably could happen in other places too, but that personally did happen to us in Costa Rica. And the next one is, I'm not sure if this happens to like other cities, but like the next one is friendship bracelets, which happened to us in Italy. I've heard of it happening in other countries as well, but basically what happens is, or what happened to us really, was that a guy came up to us and he basically told a whole story about his family and his daughter, how he has like, a newborn daughter 9 months ago. And then he'll be like giving you a free bracelet, like a friendship bracelet. But then he wants you to pay for it. Basically, he'll ask like at first he'll say it's free, and then he'll tell the story about his like sob story about his daughter, whatever it is. And then after that, he'll be like, "Do you want to help me and my family or something like that?" That's a scam basically. So yeah, I mean, basically they just want your money. So that's what that happened to us when we went to Rome, because well, that area is like packed. Italy in general is like, I don't know, it's like a zoo. So many people. So the next scam is from something that happened to me in Thailand. I'm not sure if it's like a common one, but it could have been kind of my fault. So basically, I booked an elephant tour to feed elephants and interact with them and stuff like that in Thailand. And basically, you need to book two for them to do it. Otherwise, they won't do it, because I was traveling alone. And at the time, it was like during COVID, so they would only do it with minimum of two people booking. So I booked two for just myself. So I don't know if they like got the feeling that maybe I had money or something, but they would like make these comments about like, "Oh, what do you do for a living? You've got like nice clothes and stuff like that." And then like after that, like they were like, "Oh, we can like drive you back to the airport, and then you can pay us and stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay, I need a ride back to the airport anyway." So then, I mean, by the time that it happened, they kind of overcharged me. So that is a scam that could happen, but I don't know if it was like kind of my fault. I'm not sure, because the thing is, like, they knew from the get go that I paid for like two people worth of tours for one person. So maybe that was my fault, but I mean, it's something that could happen. Like maybe if they think, "Oh, this person's from like, I don't know, New York," or they think American person, that we gotta try to scam them. Like obviously, like people could be like that. Like I remember also one time I went to Greece, and I don't know, people like when you're in a touristic area, they ask you where you're from. Maybe I feel like they try to like feel you out to see if you can afford stuff. And then I remember I had told somebody like in Greece that I was from New York, and they're like, "Oh, so you have money?" Like, how do you really genuinely ask somebody that? It's kind of like a strange question in my opinion. But anyway, the next one is So in Spain they have a lot of gypsies. The next one's about gypsies. This didn't actually happen to me, but I've heard of it. And I was with my friend who warned me about it. But basically, they were like, she was telling me that gypsies, I mean, it probably could happen to other people other than gypsies, but she told me that this happened. But basically, she'll say that they would be like offering to ask you what time it is. First, they'll like ask you what time it is, and then you pull out your phone to check for them, and then they'll snatch your phone away. Or they'll offer to take a photo for you, and then they'll snatch your phone away when you take out your phone. So those are two ones that I've been told that people do in Spain. But my friend, she was from Spain, so she told me about it, and she kind of like tried to protect me from stuff like that. But yeah, that's one that, I mean, it didn't really happen to me, but basically it could have. The next one I want to talk to you guys about, the next few actually, are basically ones from New York City, which is where I'm from. I mean, this is probably a touristy one, which I'm not a tourist, obviously, because I live in New York City, but things to be aware of if you're not from New York City. So first of all, the characters in Times Square, I mean, I feel like they're such scammers because they'll come to you and be like, oh, picture, picture, picture. And then once they take your picture, they'll basically like tell you that you have to tip all of them, and they swarm you. Like, it's not just one or two. They'll be like, oh, he needs a tip after you gave them the tip. And then I need a tip too. And I'll be like, oh, but that tip was for all of you guys. And they'll basically all like kind of like guilt you into getting tips for all of them. But just know that like you can even look this up, but basically you don't have to tip them. If you Google it, like they're it's like illegal to like force people to tip you. So like you can read articles about it. They actually basically try to guilt you into tipping them and over tipping them, but just don't fall for it. Okay, so that is the characters in Times Square. And I mean characters by the people that dress up as like, for example, Spider-Man and I don't know, a princess or Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, or like a superhero. These people literally they come in packs, so it's really easy to spot them. Okay, the next one is monks in Times Square. These monks are not real monks. They're just people who are trying to get donations. First of all, monks would never live in Times Square or New York City, so it's like they're just they're literally just in that area because it's a high tourist area and they just want your money. They're not monks. They're just pretending to be. So don't fall for that. They might give you a bracelet, but it doesn't matter. They're not monks. I remember like I called one out for not being a monk before, but I really don't think they care. They're just out there to scam people. Okay, so the next one is CD guys in Times Square. Basically, they're selling music, but they're no one really that big, and basically they'll be like, oh hey, want an autographed CD, and then they'll sign it for you, and then after that they'll be like, oh, you need to pay me for it. But then actually it makes no sense because they were offering it to you. But then they'll say, oh, but I already signed it. I already signed the CD for you, so you have to buy it. So yeah, that's a literal scam. Don't fall for it. I mean, I feel bad for people who actually like feel bad and actually pay. There's definitely people out there. If not, they wouldn't do it. But yeah, don't fall for it. Just ignore them and keep walking. There's so many of those CD guys in Times Square. And okay, this one is another one in New York City. There's so many scams in New York City because we have like high traffic tourism and people in general. But there's like a ton of people who pretend they're homeless in Times Square, or like even New York City. It's a lot of the time it's in like touristy areas, but could be anywhere, honestly. Basically they pretend they're homeless and then they'll ask for donations. And the sad part is a lot of them are very rich and make a living off of it. People will use dogs, kids, whatever it is to make people feel bad for them, and then they make a lot of money. I even think people do this in the area that I live in. I live like in an Asian community. It's like Chinatown. And oh my gosh, it's so annoying. People literally like There's this guy in my area, he goes $1 hungry. It's so annoying and I really hate him. I have honestly yelled at him a few times, maybe more than a few times, because he's like a normal dressed guy and it's just like completely obvious he's scamming. I really hate scammers, so yeah, that's why I made this video, because I'm kind of like semi-passionate about hating scammers, if that makes sense. It's really annoying. But yeah, that is my video about scams when traveling. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and thanks for watching. Bye!